everyone, welcome to another episode of Talk That Stick, where today we're going to be doing season previews for the Montreal Canadiens, Nashville Predators, and the New Jersey Devils. As always, I'm your host, Matt Carson, alongside CJ, and so let's just dive right into some news that we've had this week. So David Krejci retires along with Bergeron. So Krejci had 231 goals, 555 assists, for 786 points in 1,032 games played with only the Bruins. He won one Stanley Cup, and then he won 3 bronze medals for Czechia, one at the under-18s, one at the World Juniors, and then one at the World Championships. So overall, a very decent career for David Krejci.
Man, and I gotta say again, I am wrong, dude. I kind of owe you something, I guess, again here. So, you know what? I'm a man that can admit when he's wrong, and I'm gonna say he's wrong. I was wrong. Sorry.
You were wrong.
Yeah, not not he, but I was wrong on this one. But you know what? Hell of a career for the man. I think he's one of those guys. Even though he didn't make the 1,000 points, he's gonna make it to the Hall of Fame. I personally believe so. I mean, just with those accolades alone, right? I think he makes the Hall of Fame and good career. Go. Can't speak right now, but good career for him.
Yeah, excellent career. I'm disagreeing with you there. I don't think he makes the Hall. I think he's a borderline player for the Hockey Hall of Fame, but for me and from most players that do get in, you do kind of have to hit that 1,000 point mark, right? If he had maybe won some golds there internationally, you can maybe make more of an argument. If he won some more individual awards in the NHL, maybe. But I'm not sure that 700 points in 1,000 games is enough for the guy, but. Heck of a career, man. Like, I mean, to be able to stay with one team and put up that many points is still fairly impressive for the guy, especially coming from a country like Czechia, where really all they're known for is what, Yager?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Yager. I can't really think of anybody on top of my head, and I guess you could say that the team around him his whole career has kind of been the reason why he's produced so much also at the same time, but I think they put him in the hall just because of the legacy that he brought within the Bruins organization until the end of the organization when he became a whiner and was threatening to retire when Bruce Cassidy joined on. So
I know. Oh, boy. Just you and whiners, eh? You don't like the whiners.
dude, I can't stand them, man. Like, just play the goddamn game. Every time I think of a whiner, I think of Patrick Laine, Johnny Gaudreau, David Krejci, and there's
Pierre-Luc
God,
Dubois.
yeah, Dubois. Oh my God, don't even get me started on this man. I swear to God, this guy better produce this year. I swear to you, he better produce.
Watch him, like, just basically be demoted to, like, third line center, and he gets, like, 50 points again.
Oh
That's
my
so
God.
funny. And then in minor news, we had the Canucks making what I think is an extremely savvy signing. I know you disagree with me on this, okay? But hear me out. So the Canucks signed Pius Suter for 2 years, $3.2 million, so an AAV of 1.6. Cap Friendly was projecting his contract to be worth $3 million a season. They get him
hmm
for essentially half of that for 2 years, which is great. Okay. This guy last year had 14 goals, 10 assists for 24 points to 79 games played. And consistently over the past number of seasons, he's been a 15-goal scorer. Okay. And keep in mind, this is on the Red Wings. And he's
Yeah.
playing third line on the Red Wings. We all know the Red Wings suck, and their winger depth is atrocious. Okay.
hmm
So coming to Vancouver, Vancouver arguably has the deepest wing group in the Pacific Division. Okay, their center depth
Okay,
sucks.
Pacific. Okay, I'll give you that.
But in terms
Okay.
of like wingers, they're
Yeah.
stacked. When you have guys like Connor Garland and Brock Besser who could end up playing third line, that's not bad. That's
I'm
actually
sorry,
pretty good.
but I'm sorry if you start your thing off with, yeah, we got the deepest wingers. We got Connor Garland right after
No,
that.
I was just naming players that could end
I
up
know, I
playing
know,
third
I
line, right?
know.
Like Connor Garland and Brock Besser can play second line on a decent team and first line on a crap team. Okay,
Yeah.
so to have them on your third line, most likely Brock Besser will probably play up higher, but Carl and Garland for sure probably playing on third line. I can see Pius Suter breaking out for maybe like closer to between 15 and 20 goals in a season. He can definitely get his assists up. So he can probably hit that 35 to 40 point range, which is excellent for a third line center. And obviously, the Canucks earlier in free agency signed Teddy Bluger. I was like, okay, cool. He's going to end up playing third line, which is not good because what if JT Miller or Elias Pettersson get injured? Now you're going to play Teddy Bluger in your second line. That isn't going to fly, right? So signing Pius Suter now gives him a ton of options, right? You got Pettersson, Miller, Suter, and Bluger. That's your center depth. And obviously, that isn't good enough to compete with teams like LA, for example. We talked about them a couple episodes ago, right? But it's good enough to put them in a conversation where they can compete for a wild card spot, I think, and to get them at that value with the glut of wingers that Vancouver has, he could end up centering a almost nasty third line, in my opinion.
So do you think this makes you guys a playoff contender at least, like a
Yeah,
bonus
oh yeah.
team
I
or a
think
wild
I think
card
we can
team?
compete for a wild card spot. Vancouver will be battling with Calgary. I guess you could throw Winnipeg in there too from the Central, competing for a wild card spot. Seattle, they're in that group of teams. They'll just basically it's going to come down to if Demko can start performing like he did at the end of last season or the season prior. They're a playoff team. If he starts off next season like he started off the season prior and was just terrible, they probably won't make it. If they can get their penalty killing back up from like dead last or close to dead last in the league and they can be a middle of the pack PK team, I think that vastly improves their chances of
Well,
making the card spot.
and you guys got to stop switching your coaches around. I hope you guys stick with Rick Tocchet, man.
Love Rick Tocchet. I
Dude,
think
he's a
he's a great
beauty,
coach for
man.
the team.
He's a
Yeah,
player's coach, man. Honestly, he is. I mean, he gels really well with the players, especially in Pittsburgh. He gelled really well with Phil Kessel. I know Sully was pissing Kess off a little bit here and there, but Rick Tocchet kind of came in and calmed it down. So I hope you guys stick it out with Rick Tocchet, and yeah, I think you guys definitely make a wild card position. And if you don't, like, at least you're getting closer to like getting to that spot. And I mean, you guys are a team too, where it's like another year doesn't really hurt you, except for JT cancer, locker room cancer, Miller. Dude, I got some
uh,
kids playing in the background, so like if you hear these kids playing,
I actually
listen.
don't hear anything, so it's
Good,
you're
good.
good on my end.
I was about to tell them
Um,
to shut up. No,
just
but
open the
yeah,
window. Shut up.
dude, trying to play a pod here. Let's go. But yeah,
Yeah,
I definitely see you guys competing this year for a playoff spot. But like
yeah,
yeah, like I said, if you don't make it, you don't make it. I mean, it's just another year in the right direction. At least you guys have a direction now. Like,
yeah.
other than these last couple of years, you haven't really. Are you a rebuild team or are you trying to compete for a playoff spot? And that's kind of
They
screwed
don't
you
even
guys.
know.
Yeah, we don't even know. The fans
Nope.
don't even know. And I think all the fans like have gotten to a point where it's like they want to rebuild, but now, as like you've
It's too
stated
late.
time and time, it's too late. I mean, I hear Elias Pettersson's like kind of not wanting this contract extension pretty soon here. So
I think he's waiting for what Matthews gets.
yeah, but like I don't know if they're not really like that comparable. I think Matthews is in his own tier. I mean, Elias Pettersson's definitely good, but I don't think they're like this. I think it's more like this.
I would argue that they're in the same tier, not in goal scoring. Matthews is clearly the better goal scorer than Pedersen, but Pedersen's a way better setup man. So if you're just looking at overall point contributions to the team, they're Matthews may be slightly higher, but if you're looking at defensive contributions, Pedersen's far beyond what Matthews could ever
But what are
contribute to
what
the
are the
team.
points difference every year? Are they relatively close? I know
Over the
points
years,
don't mean
Matthews has more points.
I know
That's
points doesn't always mean
it.
everything,
It
but like
yeah. So Pedersen had 102 last year.
102 points.
Yeah.
He kind of goes under the radar a little bit, hey?
Oh
Like
yeah,
I
100% he
noticed
does.
that actually, because 102, like nobody really talked about him except for
Matthews had
people.
106. So Matthews had
Okay,
four more points.
yeah, yeah, okay, not too bad.
So
I think it also helps that Matthews is in Toronto and Pedersen is, I guess, in Vancouver, right? Which
yeah.
Toronto's like the staple town of hockey.
And another thing that could go about comparing them very well is I believe Both of them are Matthews is number one and Pettersson is number two for shots blocked for forwards in the league over the last number of years.
It's pretty good. I mean, that's
It's
pretty
not
good.
bad, right? Actually, like that's pretty good for Matthews. You wouldn't think of a goal scorer be blocking shots like that, but Matthews does it. So does Pettersson. So if I was to throw out a prediction, Matthews is probably going to get just under McKinnon and McDavid contracts in terms of AAV. So let's put him at 12. And I say Pettersson comes in at 11 and a half a year. That's
I
my
don't know.
guess.
I see Matthews just like being a dirty dog for Toronto, man. He's like, yep, give me the max. 13, 14,
Yeah.
whatever. Ugh,
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
and
know.
is
He's a
Toronto
little
going to give him
selfish,
that?
I guess. Huh?
Is Toronto going to give him that? That's
Oh,
the question. I don't think
well, then
so.
you gotta get rid of Nylander. Or my boy Johnny T, get rid of him finally.
He's not going anywhere. No team's going to want him.
No, that's for
Uh,
sure.
all right. Let's get into Montreal next. So before we do that, as always, we'd love to start off with a little bit of a game for each team, and
Love
this
it.
one it's going to be short and sweet. But I would still like to discuss it. Who do you think is the best player in Montreal Canadiens history? And I'll let you
Well, I
go
mean,
first.
it's kind of hard not to go with the guy that they named the trophy after, Maurice Richard. Like, it's kind of hard not to. But if you want to go like a little bit like closer, you Carey Price maybe, but then Bellivier. I can't pronounce his freaking name. You know that guy, Jonathan Bellivier.
Jean Beliveau,
Yeah, thank you, John Beliveau. Yeah, or him, man,
Guy
or
Lafleur, I think
yeah, Guy
most people would
Lafleur.
have as the best player in history. But for
But yeah,
me, in terms of
well,
legacy, it has to be Maurice Richard, just because they named a trophy after him. I think I believe he's top five all time in Montreal Canadiens scoring. I think he's fourth. I'd have to double check that, but he's top five. So that combined with the legacy factor, I think makes him the the best player in Montreal Canadiens history.
no,
But I
that
mean,
go on.
I was gonna say I think most Canadiens fans would probably pick Lafleur, but I wanted to go a little bit not off the board, but I wanted to go a little bit with something else. So
Most Canadians fans, dude, they're casuals, so they'd pick fucking Price
Suzuki.
or Suzuki.
The number
No,
of
I think
times I
Price.
see in like chat forums people saying Suzuki's absolutely sick. What are they talking about? Like Suzuki, for me, is one of the most overrated players in the whole league. It's not even close.
Did Montreal's like they're like kind of like Toronto, man. They just like to prop up their guys, like, and rightfully so. Whatever, like we all do it, but like not to the degree of that. Like Suzuki's a second line guy on a Stanley Cup contender, maybe third, probably second though. Let's be honest,
Probably
probably
second.
second. Third's just being a little disrespectful, but still, like not he's not he's nowhere near. Montreal's just been desperate to find that guy for like how long? Since like
I don't think the Canadians have had a point per game player since Alexei Kovalev in like '07.
yeah.
I think that was a stat. Like I remember reading somewhere that Carey Price never had a point per game player except for Alexei Kovalev in one season the entire time he's played for Montreal. Um, and then I know they haven't had a point per game player since then. So it's been a very long time, and I still don't think it's going to happen this year. It won't even be
When you
close.
see the rumors every year, it's like Montreal's going for this number one center. Oh, they're going for this number one center, like Pierre Luc Dubois. Like, he was rumored to go there for like almost a year and a half,
And
almost
that's where
two
he wanted
years.
to go too, and then he goes to LA.
Yeah, I'm kind of happy he didn't go to Montreal. I mean, I don't know what it is against Montreal. I think it's just like I'm not a big fan. I'm not really not a big fan of Canadian market teams, except for maybe Calgary and like Winnipeg. The other
Yeah,
one, I I
or
couldn't care.
Ottawa. I like Ottawa.
I just don't like Claude Giroux.
Okay, that's fair. With his time with the Flyers, yeah,
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 so it kind of ruined Ottawa for me, but I like Brady. Brady's good. But yeah, going back to Montreal, I definitely gotta agree. I think it's Maurice Richard
yeah.
for sure.
Sweet. So, you know what? We disagree a lot, but I like it when we agree on things like this. Keeps things
Yeah,
chill.
for sure.
Love it. So the Canadians last year, 31 wins, 45 losses, six overtime losses. They finished eighth, which is last in the Atlantic Division, and they missed the playoffs. Their top scorer. So going back to Nick Suzuki being extremely overrated. If you just had to guess, I don't know if you've seen his point totals from last season. He played all 82 games, just for context, so no injuries. How many points do you think this guy got?
68.
66.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was
66 points. So
yeah.
26 goals, 40 assists, 66 points in 82 games. Like,
How old is Nick Suzuki? He must be getting up. No, I think he's still
he's
quite young, actually.
um I
Fuck,
want to say he's yeah, I was going to say 25. He's 24. So he's
24. I mean, he's still got a lot of time to develop.
does he? He's reaching the point where you can consider players to have hit their peak. Between 24 and 26 is usually where players hit their peak in terms of point totals and production.
I mean, look at
So
a player like Justin Schultz. I mean, Justin Schultz didn't really hit his prime until he was like 28, 29, right?
it's because
So,
it's
like,
Justin Schultz. He didn't enter the league until he was in his early 20s.
yeah, but he was a
It's a little
beauty when
different.
he came to Pittsburgh, but he was just dog water when he was in Edmonton, right?
That's because it was Edmonton, and Edmonton was dog water. You think he was gonna like do anything significant for that trash organization back then?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of glad that he went to Pittsburgh. But with Suzuki, I mean, 24, man, I feel like the range of like 25, 26, 27. If he's not doing anything around then he's a second line guy. And yet again, Montreal, unfortunately, doesn't get their guy. But imagine having to play in an organization like Montreal and like having that amount of pressure on you to be that number one guy because they're all expecting him to be the number one guy, right?
Yeah,
So like I don't know if it's a mental game with this guy or he just needs to grow as a player because he's young. But it's time to tell. Time will tell with him,
yeah,
and I'm looking forward to kind of see where he goes. Because you know what? Maybe in 2 years, what if he goes off and drops 110 points, and then now you're wrong, Matt.
yeah. And I'll gladly eat my words. I'd love to see Nick Suzuki break out and be a superstar, but right now he's kind of in that just slightly below a Trevor Zegras level. Like people think he's nuts, but he's overrated. Like
Yeah, Zegers is
fairly
definitely.
overrated, right? And so he's in the Zegras tier for me, or if not slightly below. But
I think below,
yeah, yeah, probably.
definitely.
But having a better supporting cast around Suzuki certainly would help, right? And Montreal, unfortunately, didn't do much of anything to try and give this guy a supporting cast. So I'm gonna say they lost Jeff Petrie because I know they traded for him, but then they immediately traded him out again. But so that technically counts as a departure. Okay, so they
Yes,
lose Jeff Petrie, Rem Pitlick, Mike Hoffman, Joel Edmondson, and Alex Bazile. In the offseason, they added Gustav Lindstrom, Casey DeSmith, your favorite goaltender of all time, Nathan Legare, and Alex Newhook. Out of all those guys, Alex Newhook is the best signing that they have, but then again, he's like at best a second line player, right?
yeah.
So they don't do much. So their projected lineup, you got Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, and Kirby Dach as your number one line. Second line of Alex Newhook, Christian Dvorak, and Josh Anderson. Then Uri Slafkovsky, Jake Evans, and Brendan Gallagher on your third. And then Raphael Harvey Pinard, Sean Monahan, and Joel Armia, who has he played for any other team besides Montreal, Joel Armia?
I feel like he played for Winnipeg. I don't know why. I feel like
Did
he
he also
might
play for Washington?
Yeah, I don't. I could be wrong. Somebody in the comments fact check us on that, please, because
I
I
feel like he's
feel like
played
he
forever
played
with
for
Montreal.
Winnipeg. But do your research, buddy, before we start this pod, eh? Oh my god.
Oh, because that's at the top of my priority list is to figure out which team Joel Armia played for. That's right at the top.
Yeah, it should
Um,
be. Do your research, God.
so yeah, with this forward group, I mean, they've got a couple guys, but then again, if your highest scorer was Nick Suzuki with 66 points, you're not looking too hot. This forward group is definitely not even close to being a significant danger in the Atlantic at all next season, and their defense is even worse. Mag Matheson, who is like a third pair guy, he's going to be playing on their top pair with David Savard.
Yeah.
Second pair, Jordan Harris and Jonathan Kovacic. And then Arbor Zekaj and Caden Gooley on your third pair. And then their goaltenders. Jake Allen, who always seems to get picked up by a really bad team and given the starting job, even though he should be a backup. And then
Yeah.
Samuel Montembeau is backing him up. So yeah,
You know what
it's
they need, Matt? You know what they need? You know what I'm gonna say? They need
Johnny Gibson.
they need a Johnny Gibson or a Hellebuck, man. Dude, Montreal's proven time and time. All they need is good goaltending. That's it. That's
Yep.
it. Runs the whole show. And there you
Yeah.
go. I know Hellebuck wouldn't go there, but Johnny Gibby might.
He go there. It's a Canadian market, man. He's gonna go to the States.
No, I do agree. But in all honesty, man, they're going to be a bottom of the tier team again.
Yeah.
Hope I think they're just looking to rebuild and get. They need to get off Gallagher. I think they could definitely get something for Gallagher. Like maybe not like what they used to get. They missed their opportunity to trade him because like when he was at peak prime, like he would have gone for like a first and a prospect. But now I think they could like maybe get a third. You know, maybe a
Yeah.
second, maybe a second.
I don't think
You
he get
know,
a
if
second.
somebody's
Just
desperate
because
enough to take him.
yeah, his contract value probably doesn't warrant a second. You're probably honestly even looking at a fourth.
I mean, at this point, I mean, you're kind of just building young, right? I mean, all of their players are pretty young. I love the Alex Newhook signing. I've always been in on Alex Newhook. I mean, he playing in Colorado, of course, he got shoved down to like the bottom of the lineups. But man, he's good, man. He's
Yeah.
fast. He's good at shooting the puck. His mind. He plays the game really smart, and I like really like him as a player. And I could see him being on the second line. I
Yep.
could see it. I could definitely see it. And you know what? If Suzuki goes down, then they're probably going to go with Newhook. And it doesn't seem like Suzuki goes down that much. I mean, he played 82 games last year, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I like their young core. I like the direction they're going with, right? They're not like a team like Arizona where they have Clayton Keller and that's it,
Yeah. At
right?
least they've got Caulfield, Suzuki. You can maybe throw Doc in there if you really want to. Um, right.
Slavash.
So who do they see again? This is my research capabilities kind of not showing up today. Who'd they pick in the draft this year?
I did not pick. Oh, Ryan Bacher.
Oh
Ryan
yeah, it
Bacher.
was Ryan Balker. That's
Yeah,
right.
David. Yeah, we meant to do that.
Yeah. Okay. See,
Yeah,
yeah. So they definitely, I think, have a brighter future than Arizona does. But yeah, they're probably fighting with Anaheim and Chicago for last in the league this season again. I think I don't see them leapfrogging anyone
I don't see Chicago finishing as bad as they did last year. I
just
think
because of Bedard and Taylor Hall,
and Flamingo.
Nick Flamingo. Yeah, I don't know, man. I still see them being just terrible. Like, yeah, Bedard will put some pucks in the net, but like, can they still defend? Like, they'll probably lose games like 5-4. Bedard gets
Oh,
all four of those goals.
trade Seth Jones, man. Oh my god.
You can't. It's just like Johnny T. You can't trade that contract. It's
I
terrible.
just I just do not stand up guy. I've heard. I heard he's a stand up guy, but like he does not make sense to me. Like it
No,
just
it's like Darnell Nurse and Seth Jones are like right here in terms of overrated, overpaid defensemen.
yeah,
It's so
battling
funny.
mediocrity. Oh,
And it's hilarious too, like with NHL 23, how they like overrate players so much. Like Seth Jones is one of the best players in the game. It's so funny.
I know, man. It's ridiculous, honestly, at this point.
Yeah,
And then Darnell Nurse becomes like a 93 if you really wanted him to.
yeah. So three big questions that I've got for the Canadians. What kind of effect does Alex Newhook have with this team? Does he have an effect at all?
I think it definitely has an effect. I mean, he's a young player, right? I mean, he's just somebody they can build along with, right?
Yeah.
And I think he definitely. I can't recall how many points he put on in the net last year. I should have done my research on Alex Newhook too, so I apologize to you, Montreal stands, that I really didn't get. Matt and I have kind of been away from the whole hockey life lately. We've been out in the seashell,
Is that your
so
cat?
yeah, she's like going wild here, man. She just wants to be in the pod, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, going back to what I was saying, I know Alex Newhook's a good player. I've seen him play a couple times, so
Yeah.
I think he definitely will. will make an impact. And like I said, he's just another guy that can grow with the team.
Yep. Second question: can Cole Caulfield evolve into an elite player? Now, I know people are like, "Oh, Suzuki's the guy," but I think Caulfield is going to end up having the better career than Suzuki does, and he's a little bit younger than Suzuki as well. And the question is going to be like, can he be the guy in Montreal?
I think he could be a guy. I don't know. I'm still pretty big on Slavoski, to
You
do
think
something.
Slavkovsky can be the guy over Caulfield?
Yeah, Slakolski, however the hell you say his name. I definitely think so.
Slavkovsky.
I think he's got more potential to be a guy on the team. I mean, I kind of tend to agree with you. I think Cole Caulfield will end up being better, having a better career with Suzuki. But my only thing is that going to be with Montreal?
That's a good question. I mean, he's an American player playing for a Canadian team, and everyone knows that superstar American players playing for a Canadian team don't stay there that long.
Well, I
Jared knows
see.
all about that.
Yeah,
So
exactly, and that's what I'm getting at, right? Like, if he ends up with Montreal, I think he's going to be the guy or the type B guy. I'm big on Slavoski or however the hell he pronounced his name again. So yeah, I definitely think Cole Caulfield will have a better season this year. How much are you predicting for him? How many points?
for Caulfield,
Yeah, Caulfield.
69.
Nice.
Between let's say between 69 and 73, I think is reasonable.
You're so childish. Oh my god. I knew you were gonna say 69, bro. Oh
Watch it be
god.
right too.
Yeah, watch it be right on the dot.
Yeah.
Caulfield's a dirty dog. Anyways,
How many more years until this team is competitive? If you were to put a number on how many years it takes for this team to get to a playoff spot, my number is 4. If
I
they
was
keep going in a good direction, 4 years, and then they're in the playoffs.
I was gonna say the exact same thing on that one. I was gonna say 4 or 5, but I was
Yeah,
like 5 is like kind of overkill. But you know what? Also at
5
the
is if
same,
they mess it up.
yeah, you know what I could see though is like how they had the bubble season, right? Like, what if that happens again, right? So like they might maybe do it in two, like if it's like an anomaly, like
Yeah,
they'll make the playoffs, the next year they'll be bounced out. I know all you Montreal fans are gonna say they're gonna make the playoffs next year, but like I'm
come on,
sorry, your team's just not that
you're
good enough yet.
delusional.
Yeah.
Even that
Um,
bubble year, man, that shouldn't have happened. Like if they were playing in front of like fans. Actually, the Montreal Canadiens thing wasn't in the bubble. That was the year after the bubble. But there were still many arenas still didn't have fans in it. That was when they realigned all the divisions where we had the all
yeah,
Canadian
we had a
division.
Canadian division.
Yeah, but even then, like Montreal shouldn't have made it that far. That's
Bro,
just
shut up. Sorry. Dude, I just got these guys like screaming all the time, man.
yeah,
Oh my god. It's been rough
just
out
like
here
doing
now.
Fortnite emotes out there, whatever that
Yeah,
is.
God, man. I swear to God. But
Uh,
anyways, yeah. I don't know. That year though, that was all Carey Price. That's what I said. Like the
Carey Price
Montreal
went
just seems
off that year.
I think historically too, like Montreal seems to do really well when they just have a really good goaltender.
Yeah, yeah.
Historically it's been
Patrick
pretty
Wall.
yeah, but we all know how the Patty Wall thing went, so
Yeah, he went to Avalanche and then won a couple more cups there. So
yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah,
wouldn't you after you got like nine goals scored on you, and your coach was like, "Yeah, I'm not pulling you. Stay in."
I'd be pretty upset too. I wouldn't say trade me, but I'd be pretty upset.
Well,
Uh,
it all turned out well for good old Patty Wall. So
it did. It did.
yeah,
There were rumors a couple weeks ago about him coming back to the NHL, but I don't see that happening as a head coach.
I would love for him to come back. Oh my god, he was so entertaining. Like when he was down by a goal with 10 minutes left in the game,
He
he
pulled
would
a
pull the
goalie.
goalie. Like that was
Yeah.
the most enter. And you know what? Sometimes it worked. It
Hmm.
worked. They would score, but then some other
Yeah.
times they would get scored on, and then he'd look like a joke. So it's like one of those things, right? Where it's like if it works, you're a genius. You're the smartest coach in hockey, right?
Yeah.
But then if you get scored on, it's like, what the fuck are you doing,
But
man?
what were you doing, man? Yeah. It's like when Sutter sent out Richie to take that shootout.
Yeah,
If he had
exactly.
scored, Daryl Sutter would have been like, "Yeah, I had this feeling, that Richie, he had a good game, right? I just had this feeling he was going to score," and I
It's
was right.
sometimes those
That didn't
coach
happen that way.
blunders, man.
Yep.
I think they're
So
overconfident in themselves. Go on.
let's switch gears here. Let's go to Nashville.
Yeah.
So before we do that, or game for this one is, who do you think the best captain in Nashville history is? I'll start this time. For me, it's down to two guys. It's Shea Weber or Roman Yossi.
Hmm.
Um, they haven't had that many guys in the captaincy that have been like superstar players or close to superstar, right? And I think you kind of have to have that for a captain. He's got to be one of the best players on the team, one of the better players in the league, right? Obviously, you've had some guys that aren't really that, but more are of a leadership type. But still, for me, it comes down to Shea Weber or Roman Yossi. And give it a couple more years, it goes to Roman Yossi. Just for the fact that Weber didn't play his whole career for Nashville, but I could see Yossi doing that. But all that being said, for now, it's Shea Weber. Shea Weber was the best captain that Nashville has ever had.
But why?
What do you mean, why?
Yeah, why? Like
I think he was.
I was just thinking about it. I was like, is it because of a longevity thing? Or like have you heard anything about him being a good captain?
I've heard a decent amount of stuff that he is a quality leader.
Hmm.
The points that he was also able to put up was outstanding for his time. Um, he did great work internationally for Canada. I remember, I think it was 2014 Olympics in Sochi where he absolutely ripped a puck through the net and no one knew he scored. That memory still is up there in my brain. It's one of my most like funny hockey moments that I've ever seen live. Um, but yeah, like in terms of longevity, that is where I don't quite see the argument for him holding up. So it could be Yossi if he continues to stay with the organization for a couple years. I would say Yossi, but for right now, it's Weber in my opinion.
I think I gotta go Yossi. I think Yossi's just a little bit more impactful. I mean, I've heard he's a great locker room guy, and he keeps the team together as a whole. I also see Yossi maybe potentially leaving sorry, not San Jose. What am I on today? Nashville. I also see him leaving Nashville if they can't get their shit together this year, right? So, but I personally think it's Yossi. I could see why you would say Shea Weber, but also at the same time, uh, like Yossi led Nashville to a Stanley Cup. Shea Weber's never done that.
It's
I
true.
guess
Yeah,
unless you want to say Montreal, right? Like unless you want to say Montreal, but did he really lead that team there?
no, that was Price.
Exactly. So like
Sorry.
I gotta go with Yossi on this one, man.
Okay. Agree to disagree, and sometimes that's okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of agree to disagree, we come to the point in our podcast where we would like to thank our sponsors for this video. Obviously, you guys, you've been with us for a while. You put out a number of episodes, but one constant that has remained throughout all of these episodes is that we continue to not have a sponsor.
Well, you know what, guys? That's where you guys come in. Please keep liking, subscribing, smashing that share button. Yet again, Matt and I, we've kind of had a little bit of a turmoil situation within the pod. So we're back. We're banging. We're gonna be consistently posting throughout the week. I know we got some killer pods, killer pods from previous, and we got some killer pods coming out, boys. So please, just keep talking that stick with us.
Really appreciate it. Um, awesome. Nashville Predators last season. They had a decent season, but they still missed the playoffs. They had 42 wins, 32 losses, 8 overtime losses, fifth in the Central Division, missing the playoffs. Your boy Roman Yossi, 18 goals, 41 assists for 59 points in 67 games played, which is pretty good. In terms of points per game, but obviously missed some time due to injury. And they had two big names depart in the offseason. Matt Duchene, whom I believe they bought out, right? Because he then signed as a free agent somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then they traded Ryan Johansson and then retained half of his deal. But
Hmm.
then they add Ryan O'Reilly, Luke Shen. I'm a big fan of Luke Shen. Okay, Luke Shen is one of the most underrated defensemen in the league. He's a guy that doesn't put up a lot of points, right? But he throws his body around. He has the most hits out of any defenseman in the NHL since they started keeping track of hits.
Mm-hmm.
And they also add Gustav Nyquist as well. Their forward group is looking just kind of average. Philip Forsberg, Ryan O'Reilly, and Gustav Nyquist on your first. Dennis Gurionov, Thomas Novak, and Luke Evangelista on your second line. Juuso Parssinen, Cody Glass, and Philip Tomasino as your third line, and Kiefer Sherwood, Colton Sissons, and Yakov Trenin on your fourth line.
Dude, that kid Cody Glass, brother, watch out, man. I know he didn't turn out in Vegas, but like, dude, watch out for him. I'm hearing so many good things about Cody Glass, man. I think he's gonna have a turnaround season. I think he's gonna be finishing maybe on the second line, maybe first line, maybe probably not first line, but second line. Watch out for him, man. He works his ass off, man. He's a hard player to play against. He's young too, man. So I don't know. I see Nashville making a bounce back this year, like maybe wild card team, but like especially with UC Soros in the back there to stop all those pucks and everything, and they just need to get their stuff together, man. I mean, the year prior they made the playoffs with almost relatively the same team, like
Yep.
almost relatively the same team, right? Plus, you add Ryan O'Reilly. Like at first, I was questioning why he would go there, but dude, Smashville is actually like
He's
an
got a lot of
elite.
fun there.
Yeah, it's an elite market, man, to be in. Plus, like they're a little bit more relaxed. The media is not so driven. Can you imagine playing in Toronto, like a situation that he just came from, coming from Toronto, going to Smashville? Like, dude, it's gonna be such a breeze for this guy. I actually really like Nashville. That's one of those teams where, like, you know how you say you're a closet fan. It's one of
Is
those
it
teams
your
where,
closet fandom?
yeah, yeah, I love Nashville, dude. I think the vibe, the country town, the city is wonderful. As Jared would say, the traffic's great.
Can't believe he
even though
said that in the other episode.
even though like the traffic doesn't have to do anything with the team, but
Uh,
no, but I love Nashville, man. I see them coming back. I love Cody Glass. I love my boy Roman Yossi. Yossi Saros is great. Ryan O'Reilly is gonna kill it. I mean, Philip Forsberg, he's been kind of regressing a little bit, like just slightly and slightly getting worse and worse. So we'll have to watch out for how many points. How many points do you think he puts up this year?
Forsberg?
Yeah,
Um, he probably still continues to score at the clip he has been. He hasn't reached that age yet where they just fall off a clip. Sorry, not a clip, a cliff. Um, How many points did he have last year? Philip Forsberg, hockey DB, good old reference. So last year he puts up 42 points in 50 games. So he played like half the season.
that's what I mean. So
Um,
like injuries keep him snake bitten. And what about the year
they
before? How many
do
games did he play before?
69, but he had 84 points in 69 games. 69 games.
You
Nice.
see what I mean? He just seems to be
Yeah.
regressing and getting injured and injured every year.
39 the year prior in terms of games played. So he hasn't played a full 82 game season since 2016-17.
And that's when they
So
went to the Stanley Cup. Oh no, no, it wasn't. 16, 17. I think it was 15, 16.
it was 15-16 because that was the year they played against Pitt. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And then they lost, but
So I'd put the over under for Forsberg at, so let's just say, for example, he's able to play all 82 games. If he doesn't get injured and plays all 82, 75 as
I would
your
give him
over under for him.
I would give him a little bit more than that. I think he could hit 100 if he played 82. But I just don't see him playing 82. I think he's going to be around the games mark around like probably he's going to play around the same as 40
He's never
games.
been more than a point per game except for one season in his
Yeah,
entire career. So I don't know if he can hit more than 100 points in a season,
if he
especially at
plays a
his age now.
full 82, I could see it, but I don't like I said I don't see him playing a full 82 games, man. I think he's going to
No,
play maybe 40 games again. Or 50, 50. I think maybe like the most he plays is 69, but
yeah,
yeah.
put the over under at like 57 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of sucks to see a player get injured like that, especially of his caliber, man. Like
Oh yeah.
that's been the issue.
It's
Like
kind of sad.
I never wish any injury upon anybody, right? It reminds me of like when Sidney Crosby.
Milan Lucic. Sorry,
Yeah, Milan Lucic. Yeah, I know you love to see that boy get injured,
all the time.
but
But yeah, so obviously the forward group doesn't pop off the page for you. But their defense and their goaltending is where they really shine, and that's where I think I would agree with you that they can bounce back and reach the playoffs. Especially, I don't think Winnipeg is going to make it next year, right? So
no.
that's an easy swap to make in the Central with Nashville than making a wild card spot. But their defense is solid. Rome Yossi
Yeah.
and Luke Shen first pair. Ryan McDonough, Tyson Berry is a second pair, which could be super interesting. Super interesting. Tyson Berry is just an offensive weapon with no defensive capabilities whatsoever. But pairing him with Ryan McDonough, that might end up working out. And then Jeremy Luzon and then Dante Fabro on your third pair. Big Dante Fabro guy. And then their
Yeah.
goaltending. Obviously, UC Saros is their starter, and then Kevin Lacanay as your backup. UC Saros for me is a top 8 goaltender in the NHL.
Who would you rank
Yeah.
above him?
Who would I rank above him? I
Yeah.
just said top 8 just off the top of my head, but let's see if I can name 7. Um, I'm going to say Demko, not because I think he's number 1, but he's better. Demko, Shesterkin, Ottinger, Sorokin. Is that 4? Demko, Ottinger, Sorokin, Shesterkin. Oh, he might be top 5 then for me.
Yeah. Did you put Igor in there too? Sorokin?
I said Sorokin. I said Demko, Sorokin, Shesterkin, Ottinger. The maybe
Hellebuck?
Saros.
Hellebuck?
No, 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 no. Hellebuck's not better than Saros. Maybe a couple years ago, but not now.
I still like. I think you're gonna get toasted for just having Patrick Demko in there. I think you're gonna get toasted for that one.
Here's the thing. He's been an amazing goaltender, and he had one bad season last year. It wasn't even bad. He just had a bad first half. He is, in terms of talent, he's a top 5 goaltender in the league right now. I'm sorry, but he is. Can you name another goalie outside of those 4 that are better than him? Like
Outside of
unequivocally
those
better.
four? Outside of those four?
Outside of those 4 that are
Hellebuck's
unequivocally
better.
better than Demko.
Hellebuck's
Hellebuck?
better.
No, no.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
were to, if Team USA was to have a team play in the World Cup of Hockey or the
You would put
Olympics,
a Hellebuck
Demko
as
would
number
be their
one.
starter. Hellebuck
No,
would
you would.
not be their starter. It's
I think
Demko
Hellebuck
any
would
day
be.
of the week.
I think Hellebuck would be the starter. I definitely think he would.
Not even that close, man.
I feel like it is. Anyways, let's drop the comments down below. Honestly, I want to know what they think because like I personally think Hellebuck's yes he's overrated, but like I don't think Patrick Demko's at that level yet. I mean, he's a good
That's
goaltender.
crazy.
You know who might even be better than Patrick Demko? Like realistically, like you want my honest
Who?
truth?
I
You
want,
want my
yeah,
honest truth? Yeah, Tristan
yeah.
Yari.
Oh my goodness. No way.
No, I'm just messing on that one. I'm just messing.
Okay.
But
Besides
yeah,
Hellebuck, then can you name
yeah,
one other
Hellebuck.
guy? I said
Hellebuck.
besides Hellebuck. Can you name one other guy? Because down in the comments, I think you're going to lose this. Demko is far superior to Hellebuck.
Comparable. Gibson.
Oh my! For our next podcast, I'm going to throw so many stats at you that show that Thatcher Demko is an elite goaltender. If you give him a good defensive environment, better than Vancouver's, he can win a Vezina trophy
But
easily.
didn't Hellebuck just win the Vesna?
Like 3 years ago, he didn't just win it. It was a long time ago. It was like 3 years
He
ago.
still won it
Yeah, like 3 years ago.
again.
That doesn't
Does
mean he's better than Demko now.
what has Patrick Demko won?
It doesn't matter. Okay. Yes, individual accomplishments and team success does play into how we view players in terms of their skill.
Yes,
Unfortunately, that's how
the
hockey
world works.
hockey community views things. Okay,
Yeah,
but if we're just looking at raw skill, raw talent, accolades, and success aside, Thatcher Demko is the better goaltender than Connor Hellebuck.
Wait. So what you're saying is, if we don't look at any stats, any
Oh, I'm not
accolades,
saying stats. I'm
we
saying
don't look at any of
trophies
that,
and team
and we just
success.
watch him how he plays the one game, and we're like, yeah, that guy's better. I think so.
All right, we're getting off track here from Nashville Predators, so let's reel things back in for the Predators.
Yeah,
Okay, everyone in the comments,
yeah,
please fight it out. And you
yeah.
need to back me up on this. Demko's better. But anyways, three big questions for Nashville. Um, do Ryan O'Reilly and Gustav Nyquist replace the scoring that this team lost in Duchesne and Johansson?
Uh, I would gotta say yeah, because Duchesne and Johansson, like Johansson was great, like when he first got there, and then he kind of he kind of tapered off after, and like I mean he was just a salary cap dump, and same with Duchesne, like he was just a salary cap dump. So yeah, I'm gonna say yes. I definitely think so, and I think they got a little bit younger. I could correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I definitely think they got a little younger with those two.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no, they don't. Nyquist is a solid second line player.
Mm-hmm.
But having him on your first line, I think it's not. It doesn't bode well for looking at offensive depth as a whole. And then Ryan O'Reilly, excellent defensive center, but he's not a big point getter. So for me, I don't think they can replace the scoring. I think they're going to score less than they do last year. But as I said earlier, I think Winnipeg's just going to be trash. So they'll still end up making the playoffs based on their abilities to keep the puck out of the net, especially with Ryan O'Reilly. That
Mm-hmm.
really helps them in with penalty killing, winning faceoffs, and overall just defensive play and acumen. So yeah, for me, it's a no. Can you see Saros continue to be an elite goaltender?
I think so. I think he's got a couple more years, definitely. I remember the days when Pekka Rinne was there, though. I miss my boy Pekka Rinne, to be honest. But you know what? They got UC Saros. Sorry, that I just like had flashbacks of the Pekka Rinne days. But yeah, I definitely think he can continue. I think he's going to be the main reason why, if they make the playoffs, he's going to be one of the main reasons why. And Ryan O'Reilly and Roman Yossi, of course. But without Soros, man, yeah, they don't even make the playoffs. Like if there
Yeah.
was just their backup 10D in there, they don't make the playoffs.
Mm-mm. Yeah, so agree with you there. Saros, I think he's going to continue to be an excellent goaltender for a very long time. Um, so then that leads us into our last question here. As a murky middle team, and they are a murky middle team, right? They're kind of in that like, do they make the playoffs? Do they miss? If they miss, they're not going to get a good draft pick. If they make it, they won't go anywhere. Do you think they finish closer to the bottom of the league or closer to competing for a wild card spot?
I think they finish closer to competing for a wild card team. I think if they get halfway through the season and they're like, like a couple points out, or like, like maybe 10 points out, I think then they know where they're at. I think this is going to be a real tester season for them this year, because like if you think about it, this is the first time they missed the playoffs in how long?
A
So
decent amount of time.
exactly, right? So if it happens again, or then like I think the time like then they trade out Ryan O'Reilly, and then they maybe get rid of. You can't waste another year of Yossi, man. You can't. You can't waste another
He's
year of
only getting
him.
older.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and dude, imagine the trade package they could get for Yossi now. I think it'd be pretty unbelievable. I mean, look what I was
Two
gonna compare.
firsts and an elite prospect, or a first and a extremely solid forward roster player.
Yeah, I I think they'd be able to get. I think if they went that route, they would probably obviously try to go through the draft and get maybe like a solid player, like kind of like comparable, like Cody Glass, I guess. You know,
Yeah,
but they got a lot of trade packages, that's for sure. How old is Saros? No,
he's still young.
exactly. So like like they got a couple guys, man, that they could do a quick retool.
Actually, Saros is not as young as I thought he is. He's 28.
Still though,
And
like
that's young for a goaltender, though.
yeah,
Goaltenders have a different. different peak
Exactly.
range
I was
players.
gonna say goaltenders. Some of them play till like 35, and they're still elite, right? So
Yeah,
like,
like 28 to 33 is elite range for NHL goaltenders, unlike players where
yeah,
it's like 24 to 28. So,
yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
I think they're more of a, if they, like, they're close, then they retool, and then
Yeah.
maybe they blow it up a little bit, but also not. Plus, I really have trust in Barry Trotz, man. He's a solid guy. He's one of the boys. I heard a couple of stories of, like, like he would sit down and eat a bowl of cereal with the players. Tell them, while he's eating the bowl of cereal, he's well, and he just, like, I've heard those stories, and like when you're talking to him, like, they're it's not even like he's talking about work, and then you realize, like, for the last hour and a half you've been just talking about hockey and work, right?
Yeah.
So like, I've heard he's a player's kind of guy, right? So imagine he just sits down and you're eating a bowl of cereal, right? And he's like, yeah, so you're getting traded. He's like, Trotsy, I was just trying to, like, enjoy my cereal. But yeah, I heard
Uh,
that on Spit and Chicklets, actually. Same thing. I thought it was a great story to tell on our pod too, because I think,
yeah.
we're all in the same kind of umbrella of the hockey world, right? So if we can get out
We
those
are.
stories and hear more of a wholesome side of the hockey that not
Hmm.
everybody gets to hear, I think that's great for the hockey
Yeah.
community.
All right. Finally, let's touch on New Jersey. Um, I have a growing list of teams that I have closet fandom for, and New
Oh,
Jersey's.
here we go. Yeah, go on.
I love New Jersey. Okay,
Yeah,
I loved them when they had Martin Brodeur, and I still continue to love them because I think their young players are just absolute studs. Big fan of Jack Hughes. Honestly, just a big fan of the Hughes family in general. Jack, Quinn, and now obviously Luke is also playing for New Jersey. But to kick it off, let's draft our starting six for the New Jersey Devils.
so I'm going.
Um, Sorry.
I'm going first.
Yeah, you can go first.
I'm gonna pick Martin Broder.
I knew whoever was going first for this was going to pick Brodeur because it was like, what was there was one other team that we did a starting six for that they only had one goaltender that was ever good for them, and I can't remember which one that was. I think it might have been LA actually, where there was
I think
only
you're right.
Jonathan Quick, right, and that was the first pick off the board. It's the same thing here. All right, come on, Brodeur is gone. Crap, my team's already lost. Um, Patrick
Scott.
Elias.
Okay. Ilya Kovalchuk.
Really?
Yeah, I liked him there, man. I thought he was really
Okay.
good there. Put
Okay.
up some decent numbers too.
Scott Niedermayer.
That was gonna be my next pick.
Sucks to suck, doesn't
Oh,
it?
Pavel Zacha. Zaka. Fuck.
Pavel Zaka?
Yeah,
He plays for the Bruins now, doesn't he?
I think so. Yeah, he does.
Why Pavel Zaka? Why was that your pick?
He was the first person that came to my mind, to be honest.
Did he ever play for New Jersey?
I'm pretty sure he did, bro. I'm pretty sure he did.
Oh yeah, he did. He played for New Jersey from
Oh, no, no,
2016.
I'm thinking about Travis Zajac. Sorry, Travis
That's why I
Zajac.
was a little bit confused
Yeah.
because I'm like, Pavel Zaga, the most amount of points he ever had with the Devils was 24 points in 2019-20.
No, sorry, I was thinking about Zajac.
All right, so you're going with Zajac, not Pavel Zaga?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go Scott Stevens.
Oh, you're gonna go Scott Stevens.
Yeah,
Final answer, Scott Stevens.
final answer.
Okay. I'm going with guess Chris Terry in goal.
Ooh, lit.
Yeah, I should have gone
Um,
with Corey Schneider, but that's
oh
okay.
yeah. Oh, dude. Oh my God. Who is Scott Stevens? Pat. Oh yeah, I'm going with Zajac now.
Okay, cool. Then that puts me with. I guess I'll go with John McClain. It's another forward.
Timo. I think I'm gonna go Timo Meyer.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of like him. Plus, like my phone just died, and I had all my guys written down who I was gonna pick for this one, but
So you
now
went
I'm
with
just
Timo Meyer over like Jack Hughes in terms of a current player. That's cool. Okay, Timo Meyer. Timo Meyer's your guy. So I have two forward, a defenseman, and a goalie. I'll round out my forward core here. We'll go with Kirk Muller.
I'll go with Jack Hughes.
Okay. Um, Bruce Driver on D to round it out.
Ah, for defenseman, I got one last defenseman. Who should I pick? Dude, I'm drawing blanks here on New Jersey. I don't know
Jonas
why.
Siegenthaler, Dougie Hamilton, Brian Rafalski.
Yeah, I know Dougie. Just wasn't down for Dougie. I guess teach me how to Dougie it is.
Okay, sweet. I was gonna say I think our teams are close, but I don't think they are, just because of the fact you have a goalie that is significantly better than mine, and it's not even close. So I'm not even gonna ask everyone to like, hey, who in the comments tell us who has a better team? It's you. Uh, man, I can't wait until we get to some teams that have better goaltending depth, because then at least it makes it things a little bit interesting for these things.
Yeah, we
Um,
should put these teams up against each other in NHL 24 when it comes out.
that
Or
would
just
actually be that would
and
be
run a
kind of
sim.
interesting. I would like to do
Yeah.
that.
I
I would,
bet you they don't have every single player that we just listed, but who knows?
no, no. All right. Last season, the New Jersey Devils 52 wins, 22 losses, six overtime losses. They finished second in the Metro, and then they lost to Carolina in the second round. Their top scorer last year, just just missing out on 100 points. Jack Hughes, 43 goals, 56 assists for 99 points in 78 games played. If he played the whole 82, he hits 100 easy.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think he can get one extra point in four more games. It's not that hard to do for a guy of Jack Hughes' caliber.
Dude, I love Jack Hughes. I love how he's kind of like starting to turn out too. You know,
Yeah,
like that first bit there, like they're kind of questioning it for a little bit, but
yeah.
I really like I love New Jersey too. New Jersey's one of those other teams too, man. My uncle, he grew up like a big New Jersey fan, big Martin Brodeur fan growing up. So like every time they would come on, I'd just be sitting there, right, like watching the games with him. So like, I think New Jersey's always got a little soft spot in my heart. Of course, they're in the Metro, so like, you know, like I kind of always got to worry for them. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love New Jersey, man. I mean, they're not New York, they're not the New York Rangers, they're not the New York Islanders, so I love them, and I think they're good, dude. Over the next couple of years, I think they make a Stanley Cup team. Sorry, Stanley Cup Finals. I don't know about you. What do you think about that?
I'll save my thoughts on their playoff success for a little bit later. But yeah, and just in terms of another comment on Jack Hughes, I love how you just said that. Like when he first came into the league, they're like, ooh, he's not as good as we thought he was. And same with Heischer. It wasn't as good as they thought there was. And now Heischer and Hughes are just they're turning it up. So I think that puts New Jersey in an excellent
Well,
position.
you know why though? It's because they expect everybody to be like when they come in right out the gates. They expect it's because we've been so blessed with players like Connor McDavid,
Don't call
Austin.
Connor McDavid a blessing, please.
I mean, come on, man. Like at the end of the day, like it is a little bit of a blessing. I wish he would market himself a little bit more as a player, you know. But like going to what I like finishing what I was saying though is because we've been blessed with players like that caliber that come out the gate like just nuts. Like people were just expecting the same thing out of these guys, and I don't think people realize like sometimes it takes a couple years, man, for
Hmm.
like a player to really develop into his own and become the player that Jack Hughes has now become. Even Nico Heischer was a great one to bring up, honestly. Him too, man. They're
Yeah.
both they got a good future.
And you know what? Sometimes as well, those high draft picks, they just don't end up turning out. That's also an option, right? You
Yeah,
got you
like
got
Neil
excellent guys
Yakupov.
to bring up like Nail Yakupov, Patrick Stefan, right? Some of the biggest busts in NHL history.
Yeah,
Shout out to
Paul.
Patrick Stefan. I was just watching a YouTube video the other day. Explain. Oh, actually, this is a fun story to tell. So, Patrick Stefan, obviously, he is known for that empty net miss, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a 5-4 lead for Dallas in just a random regular season game. It's the middle of the season, right? Just some points on the line, nothing too up for grabs, right? Um, Comes in on the empty net and flubs it. There's like 6 seconds left. Edmonton immediately turns it over and scores, right? Dallas still wins the game though, okay? So Edmonton just gets the loser point out of that game. They
Hmm.
finish 25th in the league. They're tied with Chicago, who finishes 26th, but Edmonton has a tiebreaker on them.
Hmm.
The Blackhawks then go on to win the lottery and draft Patrick Kane and become one of the biggest dynasties in the modern era of the NHL. If Patrick Stephon puts that puck in the net, the Edmonton Oilers select Patrick Kane. Sorry, yeah, the Edmonton Oilers select Patrick Kane.
Hey, well, you know what? The hockey world might come for full circle, man. Might come full circle. I'm hearing a ton of rumors about Patty Kane going to Edmonton, anyways. So,
You were just telling me
who,
about that the other day.
yeah, who knows, right? Hockey world, dude. The hockey gods, they got a plan, man. They got a plan, and you know what? Maybe they couldn't get him then, but that's a great story to tell. By the way, good story to tell.
Yeah,
Just
I was literally just watching a YouTube video today. It wasn't like I searched it up; it just came across my feed, and I'm like, the title was like, "This one moment in Patrick Stefan's career changed NHL history forever," and I'm like, interesting. He was trash. Let's see what this is about. I'm like, I didn't
Mhm.
know that. That's kind of cool. Kind of sad at the same time. All right, back to the Devils. Last season, or sorry, this offseason, they lose Yegor Sharangovich, who's now going to absolutely light it up in Calgary.
Okay.
Mackenzie Blackwood, Damon Severson, Ryan Graves, and Miles Wood. So they lost some decent players. Okay, but then
Yeah.
they add Colin Miller, Tyler Toffoli, which I think is a
Great.
wonderful signing for them
Hmm.
because he comes in and can provide some veteran leadership for the team, and he still puts up points. So they led the Calgary Flames last year in goal in point scoring. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is no just he's just a
Run of the
good
mill
guy in
type
the locker
player.
room kind of deal. He's a good guy
Yeah.
in the locker room, and he can put the puck in the net. And then they also add Thomas Nosek. So their forward lines and you know what? Honestly, I'm just going to go through the whole team because it's just stacked. Okay. Timo Meyer, Nico Heischer, and Dawson Mercer is kind of your first line checking line. Okay. So, yes, this line can score, but also they're going to be matched up against other teams' top lines and shut them down. Okay. Nico Heischer was nominated for the Selke Trophy last year. I think he's just going to continue to be a defensive stud for the New Jersey Devils. Then they got
Hmm.
a second line that if Nico Heischer can take those top heavy minutes against other teams' top lines, this second line is going to feast. Jesper Bratt, Jack Hughes, and Tyler Toffoli. Oh,
Yes, but Brat.
Jesper Bratt.
I love my
Um,
yes. Sorry to interrupt, but yes, but Brat is one of my favorite players ever, man. I love that kid. Anyways, go on.
Third line, Andre Palat, who I had no idea played for New Jersey. I know I say I'm a closet New Jersey fan, but I had no idea played for the New Jersey.
Hmm.
Eric Holla and Alexander Holt, who's a stud of a young forward on your third line, which that line could both defend and score. It's awesome. And then a fourth line of Curtis Lazar, Michael McLeod, and Nathan Bastian. Then their defense. So they lose Damon Severson and Ryan Graves, two
Yeah.
good defenders. Okay. But the thing is, Luke Hughes is now going to have a full season with the Devils. That changes things. So, top pairing of Dougie Hamilton and Jonas Siegenthaler. That's lights out. Second pair of Luke Hughes and John Marino. Again, lights out. And then you got one of the tallest guys in the league in Kevin Ball paired up with Brandon Smith on your third pair. Again, solid defensive pair. Where things
Hmm.
might fall off, but they also might come together is their goaltending. Vitek Vanacek is your projected starter, but then you got the young kid who did start to turn things up a little bit in the playoffs. Akira Schmid is your backup.
You know who I'm gonna say, man. This is another team where I actually okay. Out of all the teams that I've said, every single team, this is the team. This is the team, Matthew, that gets Connor Hellebuck. Book it now. Book it now. It's happening. They're getting Connor Hellebuck or Gibson. Book it. I'm telling you. Actually, like, dude, if they get either one of those goaltenders, they are winning the cup this year. Every New Jersey fan will love me for saying that, and every New Jersey fan is all about their statistics, reading out the statistics to everybody on how they were the best team for the last couple of years. But if they get one of those guys, they win the cup next year.
And they've got enough depth to offer a decent package for Hellebuck that doesn't hurt the team to go out and get him. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's a team that I love. I just, yeah, I with teams I love, I don't have much to say because I think just it speaks for themselves how good this team actually is. Like last year, if it wasn't for Carolina, they would have won the Metro. I think I'll save my thoughts on this a little later, but them versus Carolina, so I won't get into that now. But three big questions: Is Tyler Toffoli that missing piece that this team needs to put them over the top?
No, Connor Hellebuck is. No, but seriously, in all reality, dude, like they're missing a goaltender. Like, yeah, the guy turned it up. What happened to Blackwood? You said he left, right?
Um, Traded.
Oh yeah, that's
Think of
right.
his cap hit. I don't think he left as a free agent. I think he was traded. Fact check me in the comments, but I think he was traded for cap reasons.
But yeah, like I said, like dude, they're missing a goaltender. They just had a starting goal, like an elite tender. Like,
Elite
God,
Tendy.
imagine how elite they would be, man, with either one of those guys. Like seriously, imagine that. So yeah, no, I don't think so. I think Tyler Toffoli definitely adds like a scoring prowess that it's not like they really needed it. I mean, and
But
then
it's nice.
it's nice. It's definitely nice. I mean, Timo Meyer is probably going to be a lead again this year. So, and he gets a
Yeah.
full season with New Jersey. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think, like I said, it's not going to be the game changer that I think they're expecting that it's going to be. But I think they need goaltending. What about you? What's your thoughts on that?
On Tyler Toffoli,
Yeah, being the game changer to
I
win the
think it
cup.
is just
You think
because
that?
they were so close to beating Carolina, and I think that Tyler Toffoli he's going to be able to provide leadership in the room for the young guys. He's been there before. He's won a cup. He's been a consistent, very good second line player on a number of teams. I think he'll continue to do that in New Jersey. I know he's getting up
Dude,
there in age.
Did you see what Sutter said about Tyler Toffoli and
No, I didn't.
Matthew Kachuk? It
No,
was like comparing the two, and he goes, "Well, one's won a Stanley Cup and has proven to be a goal scorer," and then he's like talking. I just thought that was a little tidbit that I thought was kind of funny. It's like, "Okay, buddy, we get it. You're petty, but like, relax on this
to
one."
quote Jared, stay on your farm. What a bad take. Holy. Um, what's a reasonable expectation for Luke Hughes this season?
Dude, I would love to see him. I think he's gonna end up still on the same line that he starts on. To be honest, either second or third. I mean, I don't know if he's ever gonna be as good as Quinn.
No,
Like,
I don't think
I
so.
don't think
He's going
so.
to be a very good player, but Quinn
Yeah.
Hughes is the third best defenseman in the league right now.
Okay. 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 Adam
I know he
Fox,
didn't get actually.
Carr,
Oh wait. No, 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 no.
Carr, Fox. Yeah,
Fourth,
maybe.
fourth
Who,
best.
who
I
would be
don't think he's top three. Fourth best.
who would be the third? Makar, number one.
Heiskanen.
Oh yeah, Heiskin. Yeah, fourth
I
best.
love me some Heiskanen. Heiskanen's
Yeah.
better.
Well, we just got a Norris Trophy winner, so whatever.
The I'd be willing to say that he's the worst Norris Trophy winner in Norris Trophy history.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
know he has a couple Norris trophies, but that specific year, uh,
But yeah, so Luke Hughes, like I think he's gonna develop into a solid player. I think it give him 2 more years. With defense, it's a little bit tougher, I find, to like, find your own, especially with
mhm,
the player that he kinda is.
yeah,
So I think expectation wise, I don't see him getting that many points. Maybe like 15, 20.
yeah. But I'm gonna go with 25 points for him. Um, and my biggest worry with Luke is that he's going to end up being a player kind of like Keith Yandel, where they're
Yeah,
really, really good offensively. The problem is they can't defend, and they're defensemen, so that's kind of a problem. Um, you got guys like Hughes, McCarr, Fox that put up these like very good point totals. And yes, those could overshadow some defensive lapses, but they're also really good defenders. Like Hughes, I know had some issues early in his career with defending, but now he's completely turned that around. Same with McCarr. I mean, everyone saw the clip of him being able to defend McDavid 2 years ago, right? That was nuts, right? So that's my biggest worry with Hughes is that he's not going to be able to develop the defensive side of the game, and that'll hold him back from being a bona fide superstar defenseman in the league. But yeah,
yeah,
for next
exactly.
year, 25 points.
Even that, like, that's not bad for some defensemen around the league, man. 25
No,
points? It's not bad.
no,
I'm saying more like 15 to 20
yeah,
range, but like if he gets 25, he blew my expectations away.
yeah. That's
So,
Oliver Ekman Larson levels of point production.
yeah, well, aren't you happy that he's gone? So,
So happy.
I mean,
Uh,
at the salary cap he's at now, like Ekman Larson to go off a little bit here, but on the salary cap he's at now, I wouldn't mind him on my team, you know?
I would.
Yeah, well, of course
We had
you will.
AHLers last year that performed better than him.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be
Well,
playing in the NHL anymore. I'm sorry. Even at league minimum, you could find AHL players that are better than him. Jet
what do you
Wu is better than Oliver
Shout
Ekman
out
Larson.
Jet Wu. You better make this team next year, man. Oh my god, he better. He probably won't, but he probably like I swear, you need to make dude either trade the guy because like he could play on Arizona, Jet Wu.
Yeah, him and Troy Stetcher could rip it up.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah, like shout out to Jet Wu, love the guy. He just did an interview with Canucks Army saying that his goal next year was to make the NHL. I love the guy, but I'm sorry. There are too many good defenders on the Canucks now where he's not even making it as a 7-8 defenseman. Like they
No, and
brought in Matt Irwin in free agency. Matt Irwin's better than Jet Wu. Christian Milanen's better than Jet Wu. You can argue Jack Rathbone's better than Jet Wu, even though Jack Rathbone is not going to make this team. Um, yeah, I'm sorry, Wu, but the Canucks should trade him, get like a
yeah, exactly. That's the thing,
third,
right? It's like
fourth.
if you're not gonna let him play, and like right, I get it, right? But like you're not putting him on your team to be like the seventh, eighth guy. Like there's no point. You might as well put him in the AHL still, right? So
Yeah,
like, dude, feed him over to Arizona. I know maybe I don't know
I'd
like
love to have him.
I don't want to speak for him, right? But like I know Arizona would probably take him. I mean, so I hope he makes it.
Speaking of taken, who are you taking in a 7 game series? Carolina or New Jersey? If it happened today,
Happened today, I'd still take Carolina.
okay.
I think
I'm taking
goaltender. I think goaltender beats them.
Yeah, I'm taking New Jersey now. I just think with Luke Hughes having a full season, even though he's not going to be lights out, I think he can easily match the contributions to the team. That actually, no, I don't think he will. Now that I'm really
Yeah,
thinking
that's what
about
I'm
it, he
saying.
doesn't replace Damon Severson.
Not really.
But I'm a big fan of Tyler Fuller. I'm going to stick with my guns here. In a 7 game series, I still take New Jersey.
I don't think so.
Full
I think
season of Timo
Carolina's.
Meyer, Nico Hischier continuing to improve his defensive game.
Yeah, sorry, some things were going on down here. But anyways, I don't know, man. I think Pittsburgh is gonna come surprise all of them. Anyways, I think they're gonna stomp all of them and win the cup next year. But
I think we should just end the podcast right now with that blasphemy.
you know I'm just messing. You know I'm messing.
I
But
know
no,
you're messing.
no. But seriously though, I think Carolina's got a deeper. Actually, I don't even know if they have a deeper team. I think they just have a more well-rounded team, and I think they starts with Frederick Anderson. I think he's a great goaltender. And I think he doesn't get. I think Frederick Anderson doesn't get the love that he deserves.
All right
So
then.
yeah,
Okay,
Game
we'll see you
7. We'll
next
have to see
season.
this
They're
next
probably
year.
going to meet in the second. They're probably going to
They're
meet in
gonna
the
meet.
second round again.
Yeah, they
So,
probably will.
and then we'll make their bets then. And I'm going to take New Jersey unless something crazy happens. But all right, that's the end of our previews for those 3 teams. Did you have any TikTok segments prepared for today? I know we were going to have on a little guest surprise here, but that didn't end up happening. So, were you able to get anything prepared for that?
No, honestly, today I wasn't able to, Matthew. We're gonna cut this, by the way. But anyway, so yeah, no, today I wasn't able to just because I had everything centered around Diarmid coming onto the show.
Yeah,
So
we can get them on for the next one because you guys will both be there at the house. So, and you guys have
yeah,
nothing to do because there's no TV. So,
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's an end to our episode. We wanted to thank all you fans for keep coming on the ride. Oh, one thing I did want to get out in the open. I know it's a little weird because Matt and I are just in the pod right now. I don't know if you would like to discuss the reason why that is, Matt, or if you'd like me to. I'd prefer if you did because you know.
oh, yeah. So obviously, this pod started off with myself, CJ, and Jared. But over the past couple of times, we've gotten together to try and get some recordings done. Jared has been ghosting us a little bit, and obviously, we want to make this pod successful. And as of right now, Jared is not going to help us get there. And so, at least for the time being, it's just going to be us two. We're going to continue to look for a third host. So leave some comments down below whether you'd love to see like another hockey guy like one of us two, or someone who maybe doesn't know a lot about hockey to come on the pod and add a little bit of a different flavor. I know we were talking about having one of our coworkers on for our next pod. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so it's just going to be us two for the time being. It's obviously our quality isn't going to decline. We're still going to pump out some excellent takes, and obviously get some different types of content out there, whether that be our social media stuff with TikTok and Instagram Reels. Obviously, something big on our radar as well is to start doing live streaming with playing NHL. So as soon as NHL 24 drops, CJ, you and I will have to talk about this off the pod, but I think that's probably a pretty good
Yeah,
target for us to start doing some live streams with NHL 24, which is a game I'm super excited for, by the way. I think this game has the potential to be one of the best iterations that EA's ever come up with for the NHL franchise. It could be up there with NHL 14 and NHL 07
oh,
as like those games that kind of changed how the games are played. I'm loving the new features that they're introducing into this game. So yeah, super excited for that. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and yeah, I've got nothing bad to
yeah.
say about our progress, man.
Well, and to add to like we guys, there's nothing wrong with our relationship with Jared as well,
Yeah,
too,
good
right?
point.
Like
Thank you.
we still love the guy. He's still a close friend with us, and like if he wants to like buckle up a little bit and like figure out some stuff like that he's got on his own personal end, then like I know Matt and I would for sure love to have him back on, and
100%.
you
Yeah.
if you guys love Jared too, like like shout him out, drop him in the comments. Like maybe he'll check him out, right? But until then, like yeah, like Matt said, we need somebody that's going to be consistent with us, and yeah, unfortunately, like it just hasn't gone that way, and it sucks because he's a close friend of ours. So,
Hmm. Yeah.
and Matt and I just want to see this podcast go somewhere. So that's kind of what I got on that end. Again, if Jared wanted to come back on, he's always welcome to. So. But other than that, boys, to end it on like such a dark note like that, I believe NHL 24 is probably going to be elite. Like it's going to be sick. The only thing I didn't like was how they were like, you know, making like pushing the narrative of yeah we're gonna bring back like shooting the player through the boards and breaking the glass, and I'm like that was already there. But other than that, I love the crossplay platform. Like
Yep.
like I really love that how it's like definitively crossplay. Like before it was, but you couldn't
Yeah.
play on the same team,
Yeah.
as now you can. So I'm
And it's not
really
fully crossplay because you can't do crossplay with consoles that aren't next gen. Like you could
yeah.
do PS4, and I can't remember what the older gen for Xbox
Xbox
is.
One,
Yeah, you can do that, but you can't do crossplay between the
Xbox One and a PS5.
exactly, yeah. So it has to be either both next gen or both old gen consoles. So it's not quite fully there, but yeah, having that, especially be able to play on the same team, is a good step. Something else that I liked about the game was the ability now to do one touch passing. Like before, you can't
Yeah,
do like a one timer pass to someone else, but I think that
yeah,
changes how people are going to start playing like online versions of the game, like World of Chell, to be able to actually have set plays instead of just continuing to do the cross crease thing the entire
Yeah,
time and looking for
exactly.
one
Right where you
tees.
can go bang, bang, bang like that. Oh my god, that
Exactly.
would be so nice,
Um,
man.
and the ability now to override AI's where they AI chooses to pass the puck for you because now they have the buttons hovering over a player and you get to pick who you pass to.
Yeah, I
That's going
love
to change
that.
how things are played a little bit. Um,
2K does that too. 2K has been doing that for a while now. Like you could do
yeah,
that now.
and then what was the other thing that I was really excited about with
There
the
was
game?
the tired effect too, right? Like
That was the other thing.
when the
Like,
goaltenders get
so,
tired.
mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like obviously with the current game, most people look for the perfect play, right? Either you're in on a half breakaway, you kind of cheese it to the side, hold it behind you, and then snipe top corner, or you look for the cross crease 1T, or you do the wraparound from behind the net. And there's a couple other set plays that almost always go in. But now that you're able to tire a team during, like, while you're playing, and that affects their ability to intercept passes, to be able to get the puck out, to be able to block shots. It affects their speed. It affects the goalie's ability to continue to make saves. It makes more desperation saves, gets more out of position. That's going to force teams to play a little bit more dump and chase, right? Wear a team down. It's going to force them to start peppering shots at the net. It's going to change how the game is played, and what I think is going
100%.
to make it more realistic to hockey. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and like to elaborate on that, dude, like it's just gonna get rid of these stupid cheese goals, man. Like, oh my god. That's one thing I'm really excited for. I know like I find now especially I think every NHL player who plays the game knows the cheese goals, like you said. So like, I'm excited to see some different goals this season, man. Some different goals in the game, and it'll be a lot more fun. I don't know if this is a hot take. I kind of hope they bring back Team Russia just like
Just so you can play with Ovi.
yeah, just so like I'm
Some
like
of the other players, yeah.
we're not gonna get too much into that, but like I really hope that they do bring him back just to play. Yeah, exactly, like you said, just to play with Ov. Because I know when we're playing with our boy Dearmid in NHL 23, I would love to crush some nets with Ov, Gino. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that for that specific thing. I won't go too further into that, but yeah, I'm really excited for the game, man. I'm really excited to clap some cheeks on
Yeah.
there, and
Yep.
you know.
And they've added a bunch of new animations too. Like over the years, especially recently, it just seems like things have been extremely repetitive. They've added a couple things to the game, but nothing has really like changed. Now they've added, I believe it's 75 different goalie animations, which is crazy, right? So they're going to be able to make 75 slightly different ways in terms of moving or stopping the puck, which is amazing. And then also the hitting mechanics have changed. So, it's like, I hope this changes the ability of
Truculence.
truculence to be an
Me too,
overpowered
man.
thing. Because so now, like with hitting, if you don't time it perfectly, your player
Yeah,
will
he's
miss you to go out of
fine.
position, right?
Yeah.
So that's super cool. The physics in terms of how hitting works now, you can't just like completely lay out a guy and blast him across the ice. It's going to be more realistic. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm
Yeah, and
excited.
then there's the one too, like you can like push back while they push. That's always been in the game, but apparently
Yeah,
it's going to be a little bit easier now to do it. So
yeah,
yeah, but dude, yet again, I noticed 1404 I've heard was impeccable. 14 we all know was great. 24, let's see how it goes. Right? I
yeah.
hope it's the time for
Deking is also going to be easier now too. I'm not sure if you saw that as well, but like some of the lacrosse deke, and there's a couple other ones in there where it requires multiple different buttons to be pressed in order to perform. Now they're going to change it so that you can just press one button to be able to perform some of these dekes. Obviously, timing is going to be super important, but it's going to make deking a little bit more accessible to some of those players that don't or that are not quite there yet. So at least for me, that's exciting because I'm not the best player at Shell, so it's going to allow me to do some of the stuff that CJ hates that I do more effectively. So I'm
Dude, I
excited for
swear to God, if you continuously do this Bobby Ryan bullshit, I'm sorry, had to swear on here, boys. But Matt, every time we play with this guy, he comes in, he's like, oh, and then we get the puck stolen and then we get scored on. We lost 12-11 to freaking Dearmid. And you guys will meet Dearmid pretty soon here, but if you watch this guy's skill play, you'll be like, okay, I get it. I get it. Dearmid sucks, but like,
Anyways, all right, boys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Talk That Stick. Next episode, we're going to be looking at the two New York teams, and the Islanders and the Rangers, and we're throwing Ottawa in there as well, because why
mhm.
not? So yeah, stay tuned for that, and continue talking that stick, boys.
All right, peace out, boys. Maddie, always a good time. Love you, buddy.